Hello everyone and welcome back to another video. Today I'm going to be discussing, as a prelude to the second Republican presidential debate, the different candidates that will be featuring in it, and what might go down during it. I intend for this to be a fairly short video, and one that examines just broadly what the atmosphere, tone and setting of the debate is going to be, and what every candidate is going to be considering when they make their pledge to the voters. Before that, though, I'd like to apologise for the lack of new real content other than a birthday thank you video last week. As I stated some time ago, I'm now on break, so my schedule is a bit all over the place. However, I'm going to try and make up with that for a plethora of new videos this week, particularly on the debate and a candidate in particular that's going to be featuring in the debate. So I hope that will make up for it. And with that, let's begin. So I'm on the heel here, just on an article regarding how to watch the debate, if any of you are interested. I've just used it as a pretense because it answers some questions down here as to the different aspects of the debate. So when is it? It's September the 27th. It will air at 9 p.m. on the Eastern American time zone, so you can make the calculations for that for your own time zone. But if you'd like to watch it, you just need to go on to the Fox Business website. I believe they live streamed the previous debate. Yes, they did, in fact. That's how many people were able to watch it. Apparently, I've also just seen this. It will be streamed on the platform Rumble. I haven't heard of that, but if you have it, good for you. I'm happy that you'll be able to watch it, perhaps in a much more efficient manner. So the big thing that everyone's going to be talking about is who will be partaking in the debate, because it's slightly different from last time. You'll notice the absence of Asa Hutchinson and Doug Burnham in particular. Those candidates will not be appearing in this debate. Instead, we have Ron DeSantis, of course. We have Vivek Ramaswamy, of course. Mike Pence, Nikki Haley, Tim Scott, and Chris Christie. Now, although they do say down here that Doug Burnham has qualified, I am skeptical to confirm that just yet. They have a rigorous application. They have a rigorous application process to determine who can enter these debates, and I would be surprised to see that Doug Burnham has reached the qualifications to enter this debate. So NBC has reported that. I'm not going to corroborate that just yet. But in regards to the candidates who have been selected for the debate, it's going to be a largely similar atmosphere to how the first debate played out, in that Ron DeSantis is going to have to stray away from his social policy, more so to his fiscal conservatism, upholding the Second Amendment, and I think that will be a very basic campaign line that all of these gentlemen and ladies and gentlemen, will want to appeal to. Vivek Ramaswamy is also an interesting case to discuss. Of course, no one ever expected that he would have reached the second debate. It was always understood that he would be a perennial candidate, and one that would likely get some donations as a result of his candidacy, and one that would likely get some clout as well in the political sphere for his pharmaceutical career. But outstandingly, because of the man's articulation, he's been able to sustain himself through the first and now to the second debate with ease. He's made himself appear as an outsider, similar in the fashion to how Trump portrayed himself in 2016, and that has been tremendously successful. But now, for this debate in particular, I'd like to discuss something in particular, an aspect of his campaign that sort of gravitated towards becoming less of a conspiracy or theory to more of a reality and genuine goal of his. And that is to appear in some extent, significant or not, in Trump's second administration, if it is to be. My guess is that he will go for something with you'd need industrial experience for, maybe Secretary of Agriculture or Secretary of Commerce, but scaled down so that it's not so significant that it would look like the administration is built on political favors. The true goal of this campaign, in my opinion, is for Ramaswamy to become Trump's running mate. That was something that I discussed very recently, but offhand. Now I think it's starting to become more feasible that Trump would accept him and actually be eager to have him on the ticket. I spoke to it in great detail, in particular in my vice presidential tier list video, and I said that from an electoral standpoint, Vivek Ramaswamy was a perfect choice. While he was an outsider, he was a minority, and he's very young. So the campaign is going to have to take a turn in the sense that Ramaswamy is going to have to appeal to both Trump and moderate voters, in the sense that he will be able to appeal to both demographics if he does get the vice presidential nomination. Trump is already in his good favors. The man likes him. He says, I believe the words he used was a smart man. But I don't know that he's made a specific quote on him. But I do know they're mates. Ramaswamy in particular has been saying that the January 6th event was largely the result of an oppressive attack against the First Amendment. That's his words. That's an interesting way to characterize it, and one that will help him in regards to those Trump supporters who also believe that, but it will help him with moderate voters in the sense that some people may believe that it wasn't justified, and that the people in it or involved in it should be in jail. That's a good way of towing the line, in the sense. And as a result, Ramaswamy has been popular throughout all areas. He's been popular with moderates, he's been popular with the Trump supporters. So what does that mean for his performance in the debate itself? My guess is that the hosts, and of course it's an inevitability that the hosts ask the question on January 6th, but my understanding is that the hosts will particularly target him in an attempt to corroborate more information from his stance. Particularly, I think that's going to mean that he will have to do excessive preparation to understand what he is going to say and what he's going to and how he's going to answer. So that's it. And in regards to his other policies, such as his civics test, it's not as appealing, really, from a commercial standpoint to the viewing audience. People don't really want to hear about the nitty-gritty. They just want to hear about what you would do. Now, I think when Ramaswamy says this, or gives his response in regards to the January 6th attack, Mike Pence is going to weigh in negatively on Ramaswamy, if at all. I believe that Mike Pence will come out against him and say that he was exercising his constitutional duty by not interfering with the process of the electoral confirmation. And I believe that someone like Chris Christie, perhaps even Nikki Haley, but she will likely not get involved, there'll be a confrontation that will result in one-liners and interventions from people like Nikki Haley, who will end up saying that this kind of conflict is not going to help the people of the country. Ultimately, it's kind of political gossip more so than it is any effective understanding of how to solve problems, and it's not really fit for the debate. But it will end up happening, and it's important to understand how it will affect the electoral base when it does happen. Minority voters, and particularly women voters, will not appeal to that kind of conflict or that kind of petty squabbling, as was so prudent in the first debate. It happened many times between Chris Christie and Vivek Ramaswamy. So when you have candidates who shy away from it or try and intervene to cease that conflict, like Nikki Haley, perhaps even like Ron DeSantis, and I don't know, it could be the case, then you're in a position whereby you come out as the better person. You come out as on the moral high ground, per se. So I think that's going to help with that demographic in particular, and we may see another spike or perhaps a slight increase for Haley and DeSantis as a result of their unwillingness to intervene in these kinds of conflicts. But that's such a small characteristic of the debate. One of the biggest topics of discussion that's going to become strenuous for all of these candidates is going to be abortion. Now, This video has gone on longer than I expected, as usual, of course, but I would just like to talk about it because I think it's going to become a significant part of the debate. Issues such as this, and particularly gun violence and the Second Amendment as a result of the new Commission Against Gun Crime that President Biden has just released, with Kamala Harris leading it, are going to be the kind of core issues that voters really want to hear people's stance on. Particularly on the Second Amendment, I think the big tone of this debate is going to be not increasing the bureaucracy of the government already to cease it, but instituting new methods of crime prevention. There may even be a call for increased background checks from some of these individuals. Chris Christie perhaps, but I don't think he's going to risk it really, considering the fact that he's already on thin ice with more right-wing Republicans with his opposition for Trump, despite him not being that conservative. But I do think there will be a general perception from these people that the way to stop these events is through methods to decrease crime in general. Now, the effectiveness of that, again, I will not comment on, but it will be the solution that I think all 6 of these people is going to support. The other thing that I will speak about is in regards to abortion rights. It will largely be the same as the first debate, states' rights from everybody. If Doug Burnham does qualify, he will champion this tremendously, considering that this was his argument in regards to his MSNBC 40-minute interview with Chuck Todd. He spoke greatly about how states should have the right to appeal or understand their demographics' wants and needs. And I think all of these people, particularly the governors, Chris Christie, DeSantis, Mike Pence, he was a former governor, Nikki Haley, in fact, yes, those 4, they will want to appeal to the states' right rhetoric. And that will really help with all camps of the Republican Party. So that was just a brief understanding of what could happen in the Republican debate on Wednesday. It'll be interesting to see what does happen. And on that note, I'd just like to say that I'm not sure how feasible this is, but I am going to possibly try and live stream a reaction or a kind of discussion regarding the debate in one of the next few days, because I've gotten to know some incredible people who have such intricate insights into these people's opinions and how the electoral state in America works, and how demographics respond to different qualities and aspects of the candidates here. So I'd love to do that, and if you are interested in joining me for that, please join the Discord server, because I'd love for as many people as possible to join in for something like that. But with that said, I'd like to thank you all for watching this video, and I'll see you all in the next one. See ya.